Alright, I'm going to show you guys a simple way that you can make your own tutorials. So if you're just starting out, you don't want to spend a ton of money on equipment. You don't really need to. So to start out, you can get yourself a nice small tripod like this. This one is a Targus tripod. I probably got like maybe 10 years ago. I've had it for a long time, but it works really well. And on the end of that, I put one of these a cell phone holder. And I'll show you what I do, how I set it up to videotape the screen. Okay, so here I have my iPod, my iPad, my computer here, and to record I use an old iPhone 6. So I have the little cell phone bit here. I just open up the tripod like this, take the phone. This is also a really good buy. These are really cheap. This is a lavalier mic. So just buy a mic that plugs into your phone, and then you can clip it to you. Now, it's not the greatest mic, but if you're just starting out, it works just fine. I have my mic plugged in. Make sure you can see this. And then I just put my phone on the tripod like this. Alright, so I have my tripod, I have my phone on the tripod, flat so it's facing straight down, and then I clip my microphone to my shirt, because you definitely want to make sure that you get good audio. So one of the most important things is you just want to make sure that you get the whole screen, the whole iPad screen on your phone. You want to make sure that you kind of have to finagle the tripod to get it just right, but you want to make sure that you get all the tools up top so you can see everything that you're doing. And then you just record. Just make sure you check the phone every now and again and make sure that it hasn't stopped recording due to space or anything like that. And I like using the iPhone because I can just hit share and then use AirDrop and share it directly to my MacBook Air. I'm actually an Android guy, but I use my girlfriend's old phone to record my screen. And then I just AirDrop it to the computer. And normally I take all the files that I drop and I move them to my external hard drive. So here I just open iMovie and I just drag and drop the files right into iMovie. And of course I do all the other bells and whistles, but that's essentially how I record and then bring everything over to my computer. I bought the Rode NT USB Mini, which is a really great mic, and all I do is it's USB, I plug it in, and I actually record to my computer. So I record to the computer in an app called Audacity. It's free. You can go to audacity.com, and I record into that, and then I bring it over to iMovie, and it's a little annoying. I just put the sound file under the video, and I have to just make sure that it's matched up so that my voice matches whatever I'm saying on the screen. But eventually it is worth it to get your own microphone, and I really love this one. Another thing that I do is I noticed that because of my setup, because I'm using a phone and the spacing is the way it is, like because there's space on the left side of the video, what I did is I used Adobe Photoshop and I just made a small frame to go along the side of my art. That way I have my banner, it says Dave Reed Illustration, and that's just to kind of take up the space of seeing the left side of my desk and also seeing part of the tripod because it would always be in the shot. So I just made a PNG of a banner and the whole rest of the screen, I think it's 1920 by 1080. Anything I'm doing for a video or even a background for my TV screen like you see behind me, I just use 1920 by 1080, 300 DPI, and everything usually looks great even on a big screen like this. But just make sure that you also show the bar on top because people want to see like what you're clicking. People want to see all of the steps that you're doing. They want to see all the layers, all the brushes. So just make sure that you have everything in frame. So lastly, I just wanted to tell you about the equipment I use to record myself right now. So this is called a talking head. That's basically what this shot is. So it's just me sitting in front of the camera, talking directly into camera. So I use a Sony ZV-1, which is a great blogging camera. It has a screen that I can turn around, and I'm using a Rode shotgun mic that plugs directly into the camera, and I just leave it on the camera all the time. So the camera was a bit expensive, but I knew I was going to do a lot of videos like this, so I felt it was worth the investment. As for the lighting, I just use a big ring light that has a mount in the middle of it, so that's where I have the camera connected to all the time. And it's kind of like a all-in-one light tripod mount for cameras, and I really didn't want something that expensive. This was maybe $120 or so. But I've also gotten all these things over time, so I didn't just get them all at once. I sort of spaced it out, and the more I did tutorials, the more I bought better equipment on a budget. Except for the camera. The camera was, I knew if I wanted to get clean shots like this, I would have to get a nice camera, and I plan to have this for at least 10 years. That's the kind of consumer I am. Like I really do try to get things that I know are going to last for a long time, because I don't like to throw away money. So that's pretty much my setup. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything that you want to know about filming or making tutorials. It's a little tricky, so you just have to use what you have to make the best tutorial. Cut. Take two. You basically have to use what you have to make the best tutorial that you can, and just figure out a system that works best for you. But it's a little bit of trial and error, and I'm still trialing and erroring. If you haven't already, please join my Facebook group, Procreate Tutorials. I think the full name might be Procreate Tutorials and Guidance, but it's my private Facebook group, and I think there's about 3,500 people or 4,000 maybe members, but I'm limiting it to only tutorials, because all the other groups you can post photos, you can post whatever you want. Sometimes it's just a free-for-all, but this group, I just want to be tutorials. Not only mine, but around the web, from YouTube. All my tutorials are on YouTube. But just a collection of where people can go to just find resources for Procreate and tutorials, not time lapses. So please don't post time lapses, because I feel so bad having to decline people's posts of just time lapses. It just doesn't, there's not that much information in a time lapse. That's basically just, oh, let me just show you what I've done. And tutorials are you speaking and going step by step and saying everything that you're doing and showing every step of you creating something. I think that's the best way for people to learn. Even if it's just drawing, if it's step by step, and if you're seeing every stroke that a person's making, I feel like that's how you really learn, and that's how you can see what a person is thinking when they're creating something. I just think that's really, really valuable, and I'm really trying to hold on to that for this group. So yeah, I think that's the end of my spiel. So again, reach out if you need to. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you watching. So keep drawing, and I'll catch you in the next video.